What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RC's Gateway to Comics. I am RC, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through the process and some jobs related to making comics. Now, this doesn't really include the printing of said comic, but it does involve the creative process behind it. Whenever I get around to actually printing a comic, then I will let you know. But until that point, let's dive into the various steps and jobs related to making a comic. And just so you guys are aware, I will be using a piece that I did, not for a full comic, but just as an example piece for you guys. Now, the first job that you are going to need to be aware of is the writer's job. The writer is going to write out the script. They are going to plan what is happening in each of the panels, and they're going to give direction to everything that is going on in the comic. They will create the descriptions of what's going on in the panels. They'll write the dialogue for the characters, and they'll pretty much just give any sort of descriptions that the artists can use to make the page look as good as it can. Now, I don't have an example for this next one, so I'm just going to keep the writer up there. The next one is going to be the editor. Now, the editor can go in at pretty much any stage, and they'll either point out something that looks off with the dialogue, try and make it sound more human, or they'll say this character on this page has they have blonde hair in this shot, but in the next page they have brown hair. Which one is it? You need to pick one, and they'll make sure that everything is on the up and up. So they can go in at any point. It's sort of floating, I guess, because you can go back and forth between editing the writing and editing the art based on what you see. Now, after that is all taken care of, all the script is at a point where the artist can go in, then you'll get to the layout artist. Now, the layout artist will usually start with the rough panel layouts and character movements. They won't get necessarily into the details. They'll just be letting the later artists know where everything is going to be happening, how the panels are going to be laid out, and making sure there is a sequence that can be followed throughout the page, making sure that it looks readable in the layout stage. And that leads immediately into the penciler. Now, the penciler will usually go in and fill in the details that the layout artist does not have in their work. The penciler will be going in and will be adding that detail that the inker after them will need to be working with. It may not be the exact detail, but it will be enough that you know which characters are which, and you'll know what they're wearing, what's going on in a scene. Maybe if there's like a background in the shot, then the later artist will need to know that, and the penciler will be able to show that in their rendering. And as I've already said, following that is the inker. Now, the inker goes in, and this is usually what you'll see with like black and white work, black and white comics, and even some times whenever you'll go into like a live stream and you'll see people drawing with maybe a Sharpie, maybe some other ink pens as well. This is what you would see in that stage. It's refining the over top of the pencils, making sure the art is close to a stage where it could be released as a black and white comic. Usually the inker will be working on like folds of the clothes, shadows, and pretty much anything black that needs to be put into the comic. Now, the next part after the inker would be the flat colorist. And this point in the comic making process would just be going in, filling in certain spots with different colors, just flat colors at the moment, so that you can distinguish one area from another. So, say for example, you have a character wearing a dress and they need to stand out from a background. You're going to fill in the background with one color. You're going to fill in the character's skin in another color, their hair in another, and the dress in another. All of those are going to be different colors entirely, and that is what is called flat colors. Now, the job after that, they may be combined in the same one, is just the colorist job. And this could be building off of the flat colors and adding highlights, shadows, any sort of other effects that you would need to make that art pop in the way that you would want it to. This could be anything from what you would see in like gradient colors or cell shading like you would see in like an old Disney animated movie, or even just something that's more painterly. There's a lot of different styles of colorists out there, and each of them has their own different processes. If you want to go for a certain type, then definitely look up tutorials on how to bring that sort of style into your work. But I'm getting slightly off track. The job after all of that, because at that point the art would be mostly done. The art would be done and the script would be done. Now what you need to take into account is the lettering. And contrary to what a lot of people may think, the lettering is one of the most important things that you can do. If you're going to be throwing on Comic Sans into your book because it just says comic in it, then you're going to have a book that sucks ass. You need to actually do research on it. You need to actually be skilled in lettering to make that job look good. You're going to be doing the sound effects for your book. You're going to be doing the dialogue for your book. You're going to pretty much be putting a voice to these characters. And you need to make it look good. There are certain fonts that you need to use for comic text, and you cannot, absolutely cannot, go just based on what the title of the text is. No Comic Sans. No, 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 no. That should be strictly banned from everything. Do your research, look into how to do lettering correctly, and then do it. Because if you don't, that will sink anything, any of the art that you had before, any of the story. Bad lettering can sink it all. Because that's what people will be reading. And whenever they're reading it, they're going to be saying, oh my, this looks bad. Or if you did good, they'll be saying, oh, this is great. And if you can get it to a point where people are looking at both your lettering skills and also your artistic skills on the same level and saying, this is fantastic, it all flows together so well, then you will have known that you made a great product. That's something that I always keep in mind whenever I am looking at any of the comic books that I have backed, any of the ones that I've gotten, and the ones that don't meet that bar, I don't back any of stuff from that creator again. Because unless they show that they're competent in both of those fields, then I don't think that it's worth my money. That may be a controversial take, but it's what I go by. So, that is all of the various steps towards making a comic page, or even just a comic book if you want to expand it out to that. And I hope this was informative for you guys, and I hope that being able to see these various steps over here is worthwhile to you so that you can see what goes into making even just a singular comic page. So, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts on any of this stuff, and if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting out more content just like this. And thank you all for watching. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.